Alright, Pistons fans, so in today's video, we're going to continue to, look at some other big man options out there because obviously we know this team is in dire need of a big right now. And one of those places you can look at will be the draft, okay? This draft class has a few big men that I do like that have a possibility of coming to the Pistons. So I wanted to make another video on a possible big coming to the Pistons. Now, before we get into the rest of the video, thank you guys again. As I mentioned in my previous video, 4,000 subscribers, absolutely insane, man. Exceeded all expectations, and I'm extremely grateful and just thankful for all of the people who follow me on here and support me, covering this Pistons team. Give me 100 likes on today's video. I really do also appreciate all the people who hit my like goal because it helps me in the YouTube algorithm. So 100 likes will be today's like goal. Now let's talk about Jalen Duren. So Jalen Duren, he's 6'11", 250 pounds, and he's a center. Now let's get into the stats so far. In 5 games played this season, he's averaged 10 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 blocks per game. Now look, it's still early in the season, so keep those stats in mind, but don't think too hard on them because they will change as he progresses throughout the rest of the college basketball season. Only 5 game plays so far, so keep the stats in mind, but don't think too hard about them. And then also, this is a if we fall in the draft type of scenario because we don't know what pick we're going to get this year. Maybe we could get lucky again and get the first overall pick, but maybe we have bad luck and fall all the way to 6. Okay, we don't know where we're going to land. And a player like Jalen, he's not someone who I have been my number 1 guy. That's still Paolo for me right now, but he is definitely a guy somewhere between that 3 to 6 range. So let's talk about him, the player, man. And the first thing that immediately jumps off to my screen as a Pistons fan is the hustle. Okay, we need that grit and grind out of any player who's going to come here in Detroit. You look at all the players we got in the draft, or even in Troy Weaver's first year when he got Isaiah Stewart and Sadiq Bey. We want guys here who will come in, hustle, and fit the grit and grind culture of Detroit. And Jalen absolutely, man, has that hustle to him. He will not give up on the player. His motor is extremely high. He's just a guy with a lot of energy. So that's the first thing that pops off to me, especially as a Pistons fan, is just that hustle nature. The second thing that I will say is physically. I mentioned that about Paolo when I did my video about him, but it's the same thing with Jalen, man. He has an NBA body right now. He is 6'11", 250 pounds. And actually thinking about it right now, he is the exact same size as Miles Turner. Okay, I just did a video about him. Miles Turner is 6'11", 250. Same thing with Jalen, 6'11", 250. So physically, he is already there. He has the frame and the strength to compete with guys on the NBA level. Now, obviously, he's inexperienced. He's going to have his issues. He's going to have to learn the ropes of the NBA. But physically, he's simply there already. And I also believe he will be a lob threat if he came to a team like the Pistons because, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, the athleticism out of him is just crazy, man. He's a big man who can jump and catch lobs. So Killian Hayes and them, those 2 guys in a pick and roll, it will be absolutely beautiful to watch. So a lob threat coming to the Pistons. Another point that I will mention, and the main thing about him, is that he's a post player, man. He's a guy who loves to get the ball on the block and go to work down there. He scores the ball inside. He actually has not attempted even 1 3-pointer so far this entire season. Now, we can talk about that maybe being an issue in a few minutes from now, but I just wanted to focus on the point that he's an old school type of big when it comes to the offensive end of the floor. He loves to score the ball inside and go to work down there. Now, we can't talk about how that can be an issue, okay? So with that being said, with him operating like an old school big, we also have to think that this is the modern NBA, and that can be a problem because you have to think about every big man in today's game. They're usually very, very skilled, very, very talented. Usually most of them, they don't just operate inside or on the block, okay? Even someone like Joel Embiid, for example, probably the best big man in the NBA. I know some people would try to argue for Jokic, but whatever the case, Joel Embiid, right? He doesn't just operate in the post, okay? He will attempt a 3-pointer here and there. He does shoot his mid-range shots when he feels it's necessary. He's just the type of guy who doesn't just get the ball in the post, back his defender down, and puts up a shot. As I just said, Jokic, Karl Anthony Towns, I can go throughout the entire list. Most guys in today's NBA, they don't just operate on the block. So that can be a negative for Jalen because he's an old school big playing in the modern NBA. And he hasn't attempted any 3-pointers so far this season. So I'm going to imagine that that's not an area to his game that he has right now, which can be an issue because on the Pistons main roster right now, we have Isaiah Stewart, who obviously has really struggled to hit 3-pointers. Luka Garza, he was a good three-point shooter in college. He's been solid shooting the ball in the G League, but so far on the NBA level, he has struggled and has been inconsistent to hit his three-pointers. And adding someone like Jalen as a big doesn't really help the floor spacing at our big man position, though we do have Kelly Olynyk, thankfully, in that spot, who can hit three-pointers for us. But that's basically everything on Jalen, man. I'm going to continue to monitor, what he does this season. He's one of these type of guys who I believe that 3 to 6 range, wherever we end up falling in a draft, wherever our pick may be. I think Paolo, he's my #1 guy. If we get the first overall pick again, that's who I think we should take at #1. But at 3 or #4, someone like Jalen is just an extremely athletic guy, a great rim protector, shot blocker, one of these Dwight Howard types, someone who operates out of the post. He's just very, very talented, man, and has massive potential. So Pistons fans, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Thank y'all for 4K, and I'm out.